Today's workshop mainly is going to be about hiring strategies and career services. Okay, so Victor is here, is going to talk about hiring strategies that you can use to increase your chance of landing an AI engineering role. And it's also going to tell you different strategies, tips, and answer any live question that you definitely have regarding how you can position yourself to land your next AI role. And after his section, we are going to have, let me share our agenda for today so that we know to follow along correctly. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Mastering Backend and talk about all of these, and then we are going to have 30 minutes for this session and also another 35 minutes for live QA session. And then I'm going to come in and try to talk about resume, portfolio, and job search strategies again. Okay, so next we're going to talk about what is next, and after your graduation, what you can do next and stuff. So that is basically what we are going to talk about today. And thank you very much, guys, for joining in. So as to everything, Mastering Backend, as you know, has made a promise to deliver on, creating an environment where people can learn backend engineering practically. Okay, so we have been building these systems and, and Mastering Backend Bootcamp, which you call MB Bootcamp, is the one, hold on, sorry, let me get this document now. So Mastering Backend Bootcamp is, one angle that we deliver on that promise where we want you to learn, but we want you to learn practically. Okay, so we understand due to a lot of study that we've done and research that different persons love to learn in different ways. Some persons prefer to take a course. Some persons also prefer to join a boot camp, get to discuss with the instructor officially and stuff. And that is one of the reasons why we have, created the MB Bootcamp, which, of course, the first cohort that we hosted, aside from, the AI engineering bootcamp that we have been doing. So we had to talk about AI backend engineering bootcamp, right? And this is the first cohort. So we have delivered on the promise of delivering a practical-based learning roadmap and learning content. And today is the career service workshop where, of course, we are going to talk about hiring masterclass, and we have the right person in our mix to share this information with us. So that is Mastering Backend, and welcome to this section. I'm going to introduce our guest speaker today, Victor, the founder of LAN. So a little information about Victor. Victor has years of experience in product marketing, right? And he has turned that skill into different aspects of recruitment, because if you are looking at building systems for businesses, right, it has to come from a product angle, right? Because right now with the age of AI, we understand that AI can now write code, and there's a lot of things that can happen right now as to software engineers with the use of AI and stuff. So people can build systems, but if you have to stay awoke in this area, you have to become a product engineer, even while you are still your AI engineer and backend engineer, right? You have to dive toward building how to own products and stuff. So Victor also in that angle is very good and could give us lots of insight. Now, talking about hiring, he's also in the right position to talk to us about hiring because he has been in the game in the hiring phase and also as somebody that is looking for a job. So he has been in these two phases, and he has seen lots of issues and problems and different good strategies that people could use to land their jobs easily without actually sending over 100 plus applications. So that is Victor, and we are very, very pleased to welcome him to this particular workshop. So Victor, thank you very much.
Hey guys, nice to join you guys here for this boot camp. And so I don't have um I don't have, what will I call it? I don't have a slide. I want to make this one as like very practical, as more practical as it can be, because at the end of this 30-minute section, I want us to have analyzed the few jobs that we are eyeing, so that we identify exactly what we can do better to increase our odds of landing those jobs. So and to do that, let me start by asking, like, for four of us, or let's say five of us on this call right now, are there jobs that you are eyeing currently? Can you paste the links to those jobs in the comment section? So just go grab the job link and paste it in the comment section so that we can work from there, because I want us to leave with something very practical today. So 1 minute, 2 minutes, go grab the link of any job you're eyeing, maybe software engineer job, backend engineer job. Just grab the link, the URL of the job, and paste it in the comment section, and we'll start from there. If you don't have anyone already, let me make it easy for you. So to you can go to land.me, that's LAA.me/jobs, and just go to the filter and search for engineer. Let me say software engineer. Okay, so if you type software engineer in Landia, about 200 jobs. Let me just put the link here. You can equally use backend engineer to do this search, but I just filtered for software engineer. But since everybody here is more of backend engineer, let me just use backend engineer, not software engineer.
I think we can do AI engineer.
With AI engineer, you can do AI engineer, you can do like, let's do AI engineer, because now we're in
Yeah,
the
one
AI era. Yeah.
link.
Okay, so if I do AI engineer, there are about 12 jobs. Okay, and I think there is a job here in Nigeria, AI engineer, so we can work with that. So I'll equally share this other search on land from land.me for AI engineer. And of course, you can change the search filter when you click on that link to so I'm waiting for you guys, please. Either you have one that you're eyeing, or one that you find from the Land job board. So I'm the founder of Land, and as Solomon has said, uh, I've been marketing tech products for a couple of years. So, and in during that time, I think I've hired, if I've not hired, I've hired roughly above 30 people, both for my company and for the global tech companies I worked with. And then, of course, once in a while too, as an entrepreneur, business fluctuates up and down. Sometimes you too, you have to sometimes maybe look for a gig to like fill in maybe an empty client roster and all that. So, and during those times when I try to find a job to like maybe something to just keep me afloat for maybe 1 or 2 months, I experienced what job seekers feel too. So both from the hiring end and from the job seeking end, I have experienced what it feels like to actually land the job. And one thing I know is that the times when I hired, my company has an ATS software. So when I put up a job application out there, I get dozens, sometimes hundreds of applications. Like, seriously, I'm busy. I don't have the time to go and start looking at every application, looking at every resume one by one by one. So what the ATS does is that the ATS just calls all those applications and just give me a summary of, oh, this person is a good match, this person is not a good match. And when it has streamlined those matches to 10, I just start working from those 10 people. So if you've used anything like Ashby, like this ATS I use, they work the same way that all the ATS of most of these top companies use. They work the same way. So it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people or 2,000 people that applied. Yeah, it takes a miracle. Like, of course, you can tick all the right boxes in your resume and cover letter, and the ATS software would give you a good match, and you make it to that first 5 to 10 people that the hiring company actually looks at. Now, that's the first hurdle. That doesn't guarantee that you're even going to get the job. Now, when you pass that first hurdle, which is the ATS hurdle, then then a real human being starts looking at your resume, like maybe, and say, okay, oh, it's a good fit. Let's proceed to the next stage. Let's have an interview. Now we are even at a point where that first interview is not even with a real human being again. Now there are interview software that are AI powered that they still push you to, and so like, so now you have to pass maybe 2 to 3 steps of an algorithm before you even go in front of a human being and prove that you can do anything. You understand? So, in a nutshell, the hiring system is like is designed to frustrate you, because if you get a chance to talk to somebody, there are so many things that your resume is not going to capture, that just speaking to you, the person can feel that you can get this thing done. But because, of course, we as engineers, as marketers, we've over tried to automate the process, that we've practically automated great talent out of the process. And then another important point too is that when I think of when I am hiring, and I am in an ATS software, another thing you have to know is that the ATS software too is not designed to serve the applicants, because you are not paying the ATS software. It is the company that is paying the ATS software. So the ATS software is asking themselves, what can I bring to this hiring company that will make them retain my subscription fees? Do you understand? And one of the things that they sell to we as like hiring company is the illusion of numbers. So they make them feel like, oh, there are so many numbers, so you need us to streamline the process from step one. It's literally like, if you go to an ATS software, it's almost designed like a CRM, where they now say, oh, 1,000 people were here, we matched you to 10, now take them to the next stage. Oh, these people are at the interview stage. It's literally like a CRM. So you are not in that game. You are not invited to that game. You're just hoping and praying that, oh, eventually you may get an opportunity to talk to somebody. So now, back to this class. So you've acquired skills in AI engineering, which is what this bootcamp is about. If you see an AI engineer job, the first thing I want you to know is that if you just go and hit apply, you are joining a very long queue. And that long queue you're joining, chances are the ATS software will just it's going to just accept you and then just put you there. So how do you cross the first hurdle of ensuring that the ATS software even considers that you're somebody that is worthy for the next step and doesn't get an auto rejection? Now, we on the applicant side, that is you that is trying to look for an AI engineering job. What we've done is like to speed through the process. Since we know that chances of the ATS picking us is slim, we just say, okay, what's the point of spending 5 to 10 minutes or even 20 minutes on a job application? We just pick the job description, paste it in ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT, optimize, this is my resume, this is the job description, optimize my resume for this job. So what do you have? It almost seems like we then have a perfect system for fighting an automated system. So when you then have two systems, so it's like one system is canceling out each other. So you are canceling out AI, AI is canceling out They are using AI to score you. You're using AI to optimize for the keywords that makes you to the next step. Now, there are so many dimensions to this, but the nutshell of it is that whether you use AI to speed through the process, get an optimized resume and cover letter, and you make it to the next step, it doesn't guarantee anything. Why I say it doesn't guarantee anything is that when you actually get to the interview and they start identifying that, oh, what you actually did well was was optimizing your resume to pass their keywords, their ATS keywords, but you actually can't get the job done because men talking to you, they would want to sense that. So the best parts, like what we've seen work, not just from the people who have used land, because this has to be about land, because everything I'm going to teach you here, it's about using land. And of course, we are going to use the free version to do all this. What we've seen work is that, yes, you want your resume and cover letter to be optimized, but importantly, you want to know the problems that the company is trying to solve. So you go and see a job title, AI engineer. On the surface, what they want is an AI engineer. But trust me, a Series A company, sorry, an AI engineer at a Series A company is definitely going to solve different problems at a seed stage AI company. Now, even if you put two Series A AI companies, one that is, let's say, an AI company that is in the insurance space, and an AI company that is in the, let's say, GTM automation space. Same title, same like maybe mid-career experience that is required, but both of them are still going to solve different problems. So that thing that you just copy job descriptions and go and paste in ChatGPT, ChatGPT doesn't know the company. ChatGPT doesn't know that the company has raised a Series A. ChatGPT sometimes doesn't know that the company, like in that company, like their engineering team is just a team of maybe the CTO and maybe one consultant, and this is the first full-time engineer they are bringing in-house. It doesn't have all those contexts. So when it is optimizing your resume, it's just optimizing your resume to fight that ATS that you're trying to cross. It's not actually preparing you to ace the interview if you make it and actually land the role. So these are like, they seem like little things on the surface, but it goes very deep. It goes very, very deep. So when like me, I encountered this problem. So I'll apply to jobs. Like I'll come across a job, I know fully well that if you strip away the application process, if you give me this job and say, do this thing for 1 month, and if you do it well, we are going to pay you. Like you've come across those kind of jobs when you know that the only thing that is stopping you from getting this job done is them just giving you the job. Like if they give you the job, you will do perfectly well. But when you try to go through the application process, you like for reasons you can't explain, you keep getting a rejection. Like like I've been in that kind of frustrated mode as a product marketer. And I look at a company, I look at their job description, I know that I know what they need as a product marketer, but I can't make it past that application process to actually work for them. So it's very, very frustrating. Do you understand? And then they hire somebody 2 months later or 3 months later, you hear that they fired that person and they hired that person because, you know, even the company that is even posting the job description, sometimes they do it without context of the problems they want to solve. So the fix for this, or let me say the fix we are building for this, or the fix for you who is going through this AI engineering course is, you see the job title. Don't just speed through the process of copying the description, pasting in ChatGPT, optimizing your resume. Because even if you do that and you are lucky enough to hit the right buttons and make it to the next stage, you will still be losing context of what the company is trying to solve, or like the specific growth stage that they are, and all those little things that may seem on the surface that it doesn't matter. So how do we solve this problem? This is how we are going to solve this problem. You solve it in two ways. First, you try to identify your fit score. So you look at a job and you're looking at it and saying, okay, this AI engineer role at this social company, what are the like beyond the job description, what are the core problems that this company has? Because when you understand the core problems, you will know how to talk about your skills in a way that aligns with those core problems. And your resume, the way you highlight the bullet points in your resume, the things you choose to highlight, all those things are going to be tailored to the core problems that they are trying to solve for. And when you do that, if once a hiring manager comes across your resume, they are saying that you almost understand them so in depth. So that's the first phase. The second phase is that because the market is bloody, and I don't even need to remind you of that, because the market is bloody, and the thing I've just explained in the first step, many other people are going to do it. Like, for instance, many other people's resume are going to be well tailored. Many other people's cover letter are going to speak highly of them. Nobody's going to say something like, nobody will come and talk about their vulnerabilities on, say, um, a resume or cover letter. So, what do you do as an applicant to prove to the hiring company that I'm not just an AI engineer in title, I can get shit done? Or not just I can get shit done, I can get shit done that is relevant to your business. So, you look at every AI engineering role or backend engineering role or software engineering role. When you strip off noises, you can literally break down the things that they want that applicant or that potential teammate to do. Like maybe you can break it down into 8 to 10 or sometimes 12 bullet points. You see something like you will do Dex, you will do B, you will do C, you will do Z, you will do this. So one of the things that I started doing that helped me anytime I needed the gig, it was easy for me to just jump, get a gig, and maybe go back to building mode and building my startup, is that when I see a job description, then I'll just ask myself, okay, this company, I can break down this thing these people want to do into 10 things. What can I do now and use that in my application to actually stand out? And each time I did that, it was almost a question of when should we start? I love what you did. And those things too I was doing, those problems I was solving too, were like building my own portfolio of things I have done. So let me give you an instance. So I'm currently just retiring, ending a role as a product marketer for Clue.com. Clue.com is one of the biggest SaaS startups in Canada. So how did I get that job? Like when I saw the product marketer role, I know this is something I could do because I'm a storyteller by default, and I've been doing product storytelling for a long time. What did I do? I used Land to like deep analyze the job. It told me that I should do project XYZ and use that in my application. So I reached out to the hiring manager directly on LinkedIn. I said, hey, I saw you're hiring for this role. This is something I have done to prove that you should be talking to me. I can literally show you the LinkedIn conversation. When I sent that message, the next week we were on a call. In a month later, I had an offer. And like I've been with them from like I think December till now that the project is coming to an end. So you need AI to fight AI, but not like every other person is doing it if you're going to land an AI engineering role. And then two, you need to be proactive. So now the bottleneck with this is always like, okay, are you going to now spend your time developing something for each role you want to apply to? Now, that's when the third layer comes in. That's when the third layer comes in, where you have to actually deep analyze a role and be very, very brutally honest with yourself whether do you actually stand a chance with this role. So if you don't stand a chance with this role, instead of you wasting time applying because you're going to be spitted out by the ATS, why don't you spend your time developing the skills, which I believe is what we've done by joining the bootcamp today. So with all that context laid, and because I want this class to be like very, very practical, like let me like this is what we are going to do. So I see that we have two people have dropped their so we have Solomon Semi has dropped a job from Workable. Awolonu Obina has dropped the job from Get Get on Board. Um, Olu, Olusegun job. Paul, you dropped the job from LinkedIn. So we have backend engineer, databases, and all that. So I'm going to pick one. So while I'm doing this, let me know, let me know if you like. While I'm doing this, I want you to kind of join me too. Like, so let me give everybody an opportunity to just go to land. Just I've dropped like 3 links there. Go to the land.me/job. I've dropped the link up there. Just look for any job that you think you'd like, so we can work together. Each of these links that you've dropped here can equally work, but let's work with something that is on land so that it's easier. But this process is easier, is almost the same. So let's be very, very practical, so that I would kind of guide you through how to navigate the job market as an engineer and increase your odds of landing your next dream role with land. So please go to land, just pick another job that you like again, and let's work from there, please.
I think, yeah, I think I can share my screen and walk through, or I don't know. How would that
Okay,
work so that we can
Olusegun said
the
his is from. Okay, let's do this. Olusegun says his job is he picked it up from. Okay, redirected him to land since backend engineer databases. Let me see that job, Olusegun. Can you copy? Okay, you can copy the link from Listen. Let me share my screen instead. Let me share my screen and show. Then we are going to pick together. We are collectively going to vote and pick together. Then when we do, I'll take it up from there.
All right, so I think you can do product marketing role. The reason is so that your resume actually matches, so that we see things like clearly how it's going to look like.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let me know if you're seeing my screen, please. Thumbs up if you're seeing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. Okay. So now, so Land has a completely free job board, and you can always come here and find like very curated backend engineering, AI engineering, software engineering jobs. And like you can see here, I just searched for AI engineer. There are about 12 jobs with AI engineer in their title. We have this one from Cohere that was added, that was sent today, applied AI engineer. But like Solomon said, I am not going to, I'm not, oh, Solomon, since you have an account on Land, would you want to do this instead so that while you're doing it, I can be kind of guiding them through the process?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, I think let's do that so that it will be very relevant to what we are trying to achieve here.
All right, guys. So go to learn. All right, so I'm using dark theme, so it's a bit different. Let me switch this from dark theme to light
Yeah,
theme.
please switch it from dark theme. Switch it from dark. I think I need to work on the dark theme. The dark theme on is not very nice.
It's okay. So let's have these. So I will log in. Nice. So I think the first step would be adding your resume and setting up your account, basically.
Yeah, so let me explain from here. So Solomon is already signed. Solomon has a Land account. So one of the things that Land does for you by default is once you have a free account on Land, you log into your dashboard, like you can see here on Solomon's dashboard. Every day you come to land, you can see jobs that has been synced to your profile, to your dashboard, that match your profile. So of course you can always select it from your profile and update it as you like. But you can see from Solomon's dashboard that he has a backend engineer, full stack engineer, forward deployed engineer, which are jobs that match your profile, right? Solomon.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take it up from there. So there are two ways to do this. If you don't have a land account and you just want to go to the job board and explore, you can always do that at land.me/jobs. You always see jobs. But what you mostly see from there is you can, just look at the details of the job, and from there you can go ahead and apply. You understand, you can go ahead and apply to the jobs if you don't want to sign up to land. Like no biggie. But the advantage of land is because all the problems I've been trying to like talk about, those three core problems I've been trying to talk about, land helps you solve them. So what does it do for you? First, it reveals your fit score for the job. So most of us, we look at job, and we are going to try it here. We look at job titles and we feel like, oh, like I've been building this, I'm fit. We forget that an AI engineer at different, this thing is completely different from an AI engineer at another growth stage and all that. So like I was saying, from the job board, you can always find jobs here and all that. So please go back to your dashboard, Solomon. So let's deep analyze. So let's start with the first one, backend engineer at Health Leap. So you click on see your fit score. Solomon, you can click on it. And then land is going to like ingest all the job details. And then when you scroll down, like you just look at it if you like. When you scroll down, you click on show my fit score. So go ahead and click on show my fit score. So when you click on show your fit score, land is doing three things. First is researching the company and understanding their context. When it's done researching their company and knowing their context, it will analyze the role against your profile, to review your fit score. And then thirdly and lastly, it will generate strategic insights to guide you. Now, the insights land generates is twofold. It's either it tells you that, look, this is something you should spend your time on, or you probably may want to like rethink this job and look for something else. Because if you go to Reddit right now, and like you can literally do it now. Like if I was sharing my screen, I could pull it off, because like I spend a lot of time with job seekers trying to understand the pain, because I'm building something to solve those pains. You find that almost every day you find dozens of people on Reddit crying how they've sent 500 plus applications, 200 plus applications, 1,000 plus applications. They are not even getting anything. Do you understand? The reason for that is that they look at these jobs and feel like, oh, because they are a backend engineer, they have this and that, they should be right for every job. Now, look at Solomon. Solomon is the person teaching you AI backend engineering. So you think right off the bat that, oh, any backend engineer job that Solomon applies to, he's going to land it. But what the land just revealed, that for that backend engineer job at Health Leap, he had a fit score of just 6.5 over 10. Now, all of us here, most of us here are graduates. You know that 6.5 over 10 is not excellent. It's probably a B. In some schools, it's a BC. So you already know that, look, this thing is already a stretch. It's almost a stretch role for you. And this is the problem that most engineers have. And that's why you keep applying and applying and applying, and you're not landing the gigs. So Solomon, what you're looking at here is kind of, I think it's the old UI. We've not implemented it. So go back to your dashboard and let's look at this job. Let's look at this go back to your dashboard. Yeah, go back to your dashboard. Come down to your activities and job analyze. Look at that job there again at Health Leap. So open it from there. Open it from here. So this is what the UI is supposed to look like now. So from this UI, you can see it's very plainly stated that you have a fit score of 6.5 over 10. So you can say that first, it tells Solomon that you have a solid background in, you have a solid backend engineering foundation with significant experience in distributed systems, which aligns with help Leap's needs. However, gaps in AWS and Kubernetes experience may raise concerns. And it tells him that generating a jack would unlock specific strategies to address these gaps and prove you can deliver despite less traditional experience. So if without this deep analysis, I'm sure Solomon would have maybe taken the job description, pasted it in ChatGPT, and asked it to, hey, write my resume. So ChatGPT now, because it lacks this context, it just give you a resume that says, oh, start hallucinating things and stuffing them in your resume. So that even if you make it past that initial hurdle, when somebody talks to you, they already know that, oh, this person doesn't even know what we want. This person is not even fit. So this is the blind spot. This is the first blind spot that you must avoid if you want to even stand the chance at landing jobs. Do not take job descriptions and job titles at face value. You need a deep analysis to uncover the gaps that you have, because just by knowing those gaps, if you even choose to go ahead and apply, you as a human being, you know how you're going to tailor your application. If by chance you get to the next stage, let's say an interview, you know the things you need to address. So at a point where companies are using AI to screen you, the answer is not just to blindly use AI to speed through the process. The answer is deep insights, contextual insights. Now let's scroll down this what we have. So what Land does and how it's able to uncover those that fit score is the company context. So first, it makes you understand the company's business model. So most companies, most applicants, they apply to jobs, but if you ask them, that company you just applied to, how do they make money? They don't know. Like as a software engineer or an AI engineer in a company, ultimately the work you're doing is supposed to help that company make more money or grow. So if you are applying to that company and you don't know how that company makes money, you don't understand their business model, you're already setting up yourself for failure. Because the interviewer, if he could get that job done and make money without you, they are going to do it. So you guys applying to that job, you have to know how you are tailoring your application so that it aligns with the ultimate goal. So that's important. And many job seekers they are just blind to this completely. So now you see the core business problems that they have. You see their strategic priorities. This is like their broader priorities. These things you're saying, you will not see them on the job description. Like if you think I'm lying, take their job description and look at it. You will not see them on the job descriptions. The job description will just tell you, you will do this, you will do this. It's nice for you to have this, it's nice for you to have that. It will not tell you that as a company, these are our strategic priorities. It will not tell you that these are the core problems we need to solve. That is, even that it's far removed from the specific role, the specific AI engineering role that we are hiring for. Then if you scroll down again, you will see things like their company stage, their estimated size. So you're trying to join a company. It's important too that you know the size of that company, because having an understanding of the size of that company will help you also to know the things that are obtainable in that company. If you're joining a startup that has just 3 people as a software engineer, let's say the founder is the CTO, or you know that right off the bat, if you join that company and the founder leaves some of the engineering jobs to you, you are on the path to becoming maybe the CTO. Because if the founder has to deal with maybe fundraising, investor relations and all those things, most of the jobs that he was doing is going to fall on your desk. It's going to be completely different if you join a company of maybe say 50 people, where they already have an established engineering team of 3 to 5 people. So all these things look simple, but all these nuances, they matter. So let's keep going. Let's keep going, Joseph. Sorry, listen. So now, if you scroll down, you equally see their culture and leadership, their recent news, and all those other things that are important that, you know, job seekers completely miss out on. If you go to the next tab, which is the job deep dive, let's go to that tab. So this is the one that really concerns you. So here you will see the core problems you will solve, and then you will see your success metrics, the metrics you'll be measured by. Scrolling down, you will see the skills hierarchy. So which skills are critical to this job, which skills are important, and which skills are preferred. Scrolling down again, you will see your gap analysis. No, go into the tab itself. Yeah, go into the tab. No, on that job, scroll down from the tab there. Yeah, not the page, the tab.
Okay.
Yes, scroll into the tab itself. And so so you see,
I'll get it.
so you see your gap analysis, so you see your deal breaker gap. So land is going to help you review your deal breaker gap. So it will tell you that these 2 things or 3 things are the things that are most likely to stop you from landing this role. As a smart person, or as proactive people who have, taken AI engineering courses because you want to like upgrade your profile and increase your odds of landing job, what do you do with this information? You immediately start working on something. Maybe you start taking a course, you start building anything that would give you hands-on insights on those critical deal breaker gaps. You want to start working on them. So, and then there are other things. Then you can go again and look at your strategic fit analysis. If you want to understand, okay, go to the next tab, strategic fit analysis. If you want to understand, like, okay, how did land score me? What were the things how did I get to a 6.5/10 score for this job? But before I do that, go back to that job deep dive. Now let's scroll into that tab. Now scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll to the end of the tab. Scroll to the end of the tab. Again, here you will see the tools. So scroll up a bit. You will see the tools, like the tools you need to have like core experience in if you want to land this job. Sometimes we apply to jobs and we don't know this. But if you scroll down again, Solomon, please scroll down again. One other thing that land does for you is that all those gaps that you see there, you can click on push skill gaps to agent. So click that button. So now land has pushed your gaps for that job. So the way I built land is that if you have a fit score of 6.9 and below, like honestly speaking, because I have hired so many people, if you have a low fit score of 6.9 over 10 below, my recommendation is just work on the gaps that you found from your deep analysis before you go back and look for a job of that same title or that same distance and apply. Don't just blindly apply and hope that a miracle will happen. Because for me, that is in the 8 year software most times. Like, guy, it's difficult, almost impossible for that kind of miracle to happen because I have a company to run. I'm not taking a chance on you when there are more qualified people on my roster. That is not even going to happen. So if you just blindly go and apply, like, yeah, there's always an exception to the rule, but just blindly applying and expecting that maybe there are other people with a fit score of maybe 8.5, 9 point something, and they have all those skills I am looking for. You expect me to come and take a chance on you? Like, no, that is not going to happen. Like, instead of you to apply the traditional way, instead of you to apply the traditional way, go and work on those skills. Now, there is a whole paid version on land that helps you like work on things to overcome that, but that's not the interest here. I'm just giving you like very honest, brutal feedback that if you deep analyze a job and you have a fit score of 6.9, less than 6.9, don't blindly apply. Like, don't blindly apply. Go and work on your skills gaps first. You know, work on those tools, work on those things that you see. That so you can see that this job that Solomon has deep analyzed is in the health sector, is an AI startup in the health sector. If those are the kind of companies you want to work with, you know that once you work on those skills, when you deep analyze another job in that niche, those are the same probably skills or gaps that are going to come that you're going to be facing. So you'll be more prepared to land those jobs tomorrow. So let me show you what that looks like. So Solomon, please can you click on see your skills gaps. So now Land has pushed those skills gaps. So you can see here, it says you can see where that skills gaps was pushed from. So this is another module in Land, and everything I'm showing you here is you can use these things for completely free on Land. So this is another module in Land where it says the skills gaps was pushed from here, and then from here you can generate a plan. So once you generate a plan, Land is going to ingest all those skills gaps and develop a career growth plan for you, where to tell you, take this course, master this product, master this tool, and all those stuff. Please, let's go back. Let's go back. You can just click on a view analysis context to go back. So, no, it's okay here. It's okay here. Yeah, click on there. Click on there again. Open it again, Solomon. So, what other thing do I want to show you here? So now, let's now proceed to when, okay, you know that. So the first phase I have just gone through is deep analyze a job. Like, at least with Land is completely free. So sign up, get these jobs delivered to you, deep analyze them, see your fit score, and spend 5 minutes. Don't be like every other person who will just wake up every day, hit apply, like apply to 20 jobs and then go and start sleeping and say, oh God, let one of them just come. And then when they get a rejection email, they just say, oh God, this company will not hire me because I'm in Nigeria, because I'm no, not that. Yes, there is a case for not getting a job because you are not maybe in the US or in Canada. But if you demonstrate that you are very qualified, trust me, companies are always willing to make an exception. And one of the ways you demonstrate that you're very qualified is to be very, very proactive. And proactiveness starts from ensuring that you are even doing the right things and headed in the right direction. And because I've experienced this frustration as an applicant sometimes, I then realized that the solution to this is, if I am not applying to a job, if I don't want to like send 100+ applications every day and hoping that something will happen, and I want to spend my time actually applying very well to a job, I want to ensure that I am spending that time on the best fit jobs. So you can, like, the way I see the job market currently, it's better to spend your time on 5 jobs. You go all in on those jobs than just hitting apply blindly and running blind. Because at the end of the day, you're just looking for one job. You are just looking for one job. Most of us can't even, if you get a good job, you will just be comfortable in that job. So if you're looking for one good job, why are you just sending thousands of applications only to like feel frustrated? You keep compiling this thing. So you deep analyze a job, you tell yourself the truth. Okay, my fit score for this job is very far. Look at my gaps. Look at the tools I need to learn. I should rather go and spend more time learning these things. Come back a week later. Of course, Land is going to still be sending me these jobs and I apply again. But if you must apply or your fit score is high, you still have to do something different than other people who are just still going to take ChatGPT, tailor their resume, and send the application. So what do you then do? I guess this is when I'll have to maybe share my screen. I don't know, Solomon, if have you like unlocked you've not unlocked any job application kits, yeah?
Let me take a look.
You've not. I don't think you have.
I think I have, but
Okay,
not
let me see.
one recently.
No, let me see.
Let's see this one 5 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the
Okay.
strategy.
So now, when you so on land, the way land works is there is no monthly subscription because my principle and the principle behind building land is you should be only applying to jobs where you have a very high chance. But even if you have a low score and you are very convinced that you have a strong chance of landing this job, you don't just send a resume and go to sleep. What do? You know, of course, send the resume like every other person would, send the cover letter like every other person would, but you need projects. You need to actually pick one of the problems that the company has, solve a problem, and use that in your application. So now let me show you how you do that. So please go to view your application kit. So when you go to your application kit, you can see that Land writes crafts the resume for you. You can see the resume is like very tailored. If you don't like anything, you can edit it. On your right-hand pane, you can see your optimization scope for the resume. You can see the words that have not been, like these are the things that the ATS software is going to use to screen out your resume. You can see the words that are not yet there. You can click one button and Land is going to rewrite the resume and ensure all those things are in the resume, or you can just click on edit right here on Land and add all those words. Let's go to cover letter. Let's go to cover letter. In the cover letter, you can see that Land is going to craft the cover letter for you, ensuring that it is optimized for ATS and it aligns, like it kind of merges the deep company research that it has done, the problems they are trying to solve with that role, you understand, and what makes you stand out. But the important part I want to show you here is the projects. So Solomon, please go to projects. So under projects, Land is going to give you 3 things that you can do and use that in your outreach. So you've seen these stories where people say, like most people tell you, when you apply to a job, go and look for somebody on LinkedIn, send them a message telling them they apply. And then many of us, we jump ship, we just completely do that. So let's say I am hiring for a product marketer, you know, and I put up my job description. You apply to my job description as a product marketer. You come to LinkedIn and tell me, hey, Victor, I saw that you're hiring for a product marketer at LAN. I applied. Okay, you applied. So what do you now want me to do? So people, it's almost like because you have come to LinkedIn or you send me a cold email that you applied that, okay, I should now come and hire you because you sent me a message. That doesn't add any value to the person that you are outreaching to. Doesn't add any value to them. So to solve that problem, what Land does is that it gives you 3 projects. You can see here on Solomon's dashboard, he's looking at project 1, there's project 2, and there's project 3. So these projects, what Land does is that it picks your gaps, all those areas that you have gaps. It picks your gaps. It looks at where the company is going, like their milestone, their business model, and all those stuffs. And it looks at what they are hiring for, the core problems the ideal hire is going to solve. It merges those 3 things together, contextualizes it, and gives you 3 projects that you can complete and use in your outreach. So you can see here, if Solomon can scroll down, you're going to see the execution blueprints. You're going to see your outreach strategy, how you're going to use that project. So you can pick any of these projects, complete them. So what the successful people from AI engineers, backend engineers, marketers, writers, successful people that have used Land has done is that, and this is what we recommend. Once you see the job, you like it, generate a job application kit on Land. Take your resume and your cover letter that Land has already written for you, is optimized, is with the deep research that every other people who is just applying using ChatGPT are not even going to match. Apply so that their ATS, their internal ATS software can register you and then push you to the next stage. But don't just go and fold your hands and go and apply to another job. Come to Land, pick one project. You get the blueprint and everything on how to solve the project. And to your right hand pane, Solomon, if you can hover, you can even Land has an always on career board that you can use to click one button, ask it any question, is going to like guide you step by step. I think Solomon has just done that. It's going to guide you step by step how to like execute the project. If while executing the project, maybe you're writing code for it and all those stuff, you get maybe you get a blockade on the way, you just come here, like your chat is intact, you just come here and say, okay, I'm writing this code, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, give me the code for me to land, the land agent is going to give all that to you. It's going to practically guide you to execute the project. Now, once you've taken maybe 5 hours or 6 hours and completed the project, what do you then do? Now let's go to the next page, outreach message. Let's go to the next tab. Let's go to the next tab, outreach messages. What LAN then does, the next thing LAN does is LAN identifies 4 persons within that company. So if you look at, so the first tab is that it tells you how you can get their contacts. And then secondly, if you go to the next tab, CTO, go to the CXO. So I think when you generated this thing 5 months ago, we are not using this UI. But what LAN does is it will find the right person that you can outreach based on the company's deep research, their team size and all that. It could tell you that, okay, you should reach out to the CMO. To tell you that maybe you should reach out to the CXO, whatever. It's going to give you the name of the person and give you the specific message you're supposed to use based on the project that you completed. I think it has that for the strategic employee. So for the strategic employee, let's say a company has a team size of 15. There is one engineer in the company. There is the CTO and all that. You know that the CTO is the person that is probably going to do all the hiring decision. But that other engineer that is working with them still has a say. So what LAN does is that it gives you the outreach script too, to reach out to that person and say, hey, I see that you're working in XYZ company. I applied and I thought I should solve this project to kind of demonstrate that I'll be the right fit. Like, can we have a chat and all that? What LAN is trying to do for you is, besides proving that you can actually get something done, which is a great way to demonstrate your high agency and taste, it is equipping somebody within the company to become a champion for you. So that when you come up in discussion that, hey, okay, we have all these people, who should we consider? There's somebody in the company that will say something like, there's this guy that reached out to me, he applied to this job and he solved the problem, and the problem really tackles one of the problems we are trying to solve as a company. As a hiring manager, who would you rather hire? Like, if we are being honest, is the person that has been proactive. Now, why is all of this important? All of this is important because today, what people are hiring for is people that have tastes and agency. What do those two things mean? Those two things mean that when you have agency, you can identify the problems that needs to be solved. AI can write code. AI can generate content, but AI does not know the problem to solve. That's why human beings are very, very still important. Now, even if you then give code, even if you then identify the problem to solve and give it to AI, AI will still do a poor job because it lacks the taste. It doesn't understand the company's customers. It doesn't know maybe how, like, it still lacks the taste to do that work in a way that is going to drive the business forward. So to summarize, if you're going to land an AI engineering job, if you're going to land an AI is backend engineering role today, the solution is not to keep applying blindly. The solution is a deep analysis engine that helps you make very informed decisions, one, helps you identify your gaps, two, and then if you choose to apply, or when it's right for you to apply, ensures that you don't just be like every other person who just applies, goes back and apply again, goes back and apply again. No, it prepares you, like gives you the access to demonstrate that you have high agency and taste. And then lastly, also on land, let's say you've now done all these things and you've made it to the final stage, you still have to prepare for the interview. And that's where the final thing that LAN gives you when you generate a job application kit comes in. So LAN will give you two things: the questions you should expect. So just for demonstration, Solomon, can you read one of the questions that land? So it says something like,
Haraka is focused on building financial infrastructure for emerging markets. Given your experience at Crip Africa, building an African payment system on blockchain, how would you approach the challenge of designing a backend system that handles the unique scalability and reliability requirements of users in this region, particularly considering limited internet connectivity and infrastructure? So that's one of the
now
questions.
let me come in there. You see that when you make it to the interview, the hiring team has looked at your resume. The questions they are going to ask you, they will pick an experience you claim that you have, and they want to hear how you would weave that experience to their own problems. So LAN prepares you for that. Now, let's look at the answer, Solomon.
All right. At Crip Africa, I faced similar challenges building our blockchain-based payment system. We addressed limited internet connectivity by implementing a robust queuing system using Bull MQ with Redis, similar to Haraka's tech stack, to ensure transactions were processed even with intermittent connections.
Now, let me pause there. You see that response. Now, that response takes Solomon's experience, tackles the problem, but contextualizes it to Haraka's own situation. That's how you ace interviews. Not, we solve the problem. Because, again, imagine going through all the hurdles, going to the interview stage and failing. Many people still fail in the interview stage. And the reason they fail is not because at that point they are not qualified. It's because they lack the ability to contextualize their experiences to the company's problem. You see that there it says that it mentions Redis, similar to Build HQ and Redis. If you go to the deep analysis of this particular job, you realize that those things are part of the tools that Haraka, in this case, is using. So if you are going to use AI to beat AI, you have to do it well. You have to do it in a very good direction. So to not keep this thing too long, what LAN does for you is that it surfaces 3 to 5 questions that you should expect and then gives you the answers. Now, these answers, you can repeat them verbatim and it's fine. But the goal with this is to prepare you mentally. You can look at them, recite them, and prepare. Like some people can keep it in another tab. As the person is asking them, they're looking at it and talking. But the goal is not essentially for you to cheat, it's to prepare you. And then again, to the right-hand pane, like you see there, you can start a mock interview where maybe you say they ask you this question, you like from your mind, like you get a follow-up, you ask and all that. While that is loading, let's go to the second tab, strategic questions to ask. Now, the hiring company is going to ask you questions. And most times when they get to your turn, they will ask you, do you have any questions for us? You, as an AI engineer, may be excited that, oh, if this job just work, I'll start getting $5,000, $3,000 a month. In your mind, you don't want anything to kind of stop it. You just want to like, Baba Muna, just give me the work, sharp, we'll just start. Or let's start immediately. Sorry for some of us that are not Nigerians here. Like, just give me the work. But that is to a red flag. Because if you are going to be perceived as a strategic person, as somebody they want to work with, you too must go with questions that will challenge their thinking, questions that will make them feel like this person is going to bring value, questions that will even make you understand insight so that you get a very good follow-up on that interview with them and increase your odds of actually landing the job. So let's look at the questions that LAN surfaced, the interview question. You say, so can you do the first one, Solomon?
Okay, given Haraka's focus on bridging traditional finance and crypto in emerging markets, what are the biggest regulatory hurdles you anticipate facing? And how is the company proactively addressing them to ensure long-term sustainability and compliance?
So let's look at how this question positions. You can read that.
All right. So this question demonstrates an understanding of the complexities of operating in the fintech and crypto space, and signals the candidate's awareness of the importance of regulatory compliance. The answer would reveal insights into Haraka's risk management strategies, and its commitment to responsible innovation.
So, like, you should be asking questions too, even when you make it to the interview stage. The questions, they may look like they are not important at first, but those questions, they make the hiring, you want the hiring manager, you want the hiring team to step back and look at you like this guy answered our, didn't just answer our questions in the questions to expect. He tailored every questions to the core problems that we have. And now that he's asking questions, he's revealing that he understands our niche. He knows that there are important things we should be like addressing in our niche and all those stuff. So if you want to apply, so I think I've tried to create two buckets. Don't just after this boot camp, we don't just want you to say, okay, you have AI engineering this thing. Now I just want to go and start applying to AI, every AI engineering job. No, deep analyze it. Like deep analyze the job. At least you have something like land. Signing up on land is free. Getting jobs sent to your profile every day is free. Analyzing the job is free. What you're seeing here, if you choose to apply, if you choose to apply, is the only thing you pay for. And for what is what, like we think is what is, because on land, nobody's like putting you on, like no, there's no subscription. You like it, and that's by design. It's designed in a way that we only want you to like pay when there is a strong chance that you will land a job. So apply. Don't just apply and go and rest. Solve a problem and use that to increase your chance. Don't go to LinkedIn and say, hey, I applied to your job. My name is this, blah, blah, blah. No. Don't go and say, I applied to a job. I have experience doing blah, blah, blah. No. I applied to a job. I saw that you're having these problems. I solved this to demonstrate that I could be the right person for you. That's the kind of people I want to hire. That's the kind of people I want to hire. And I am sure that even you as a person, probably that's the kind of person you want to hire. So besides that, once you like unlock your job application kit on land for a job, you get very deep insights. Like you get a full application strategy that will tell you what you should do on day 1, day 2, your projects and all that. And then on land, by default, you always have the career growth agent on your right-hand pane to guide you through your career. So land is designed in a way that is designed to help you grow your career, so that it either helps you to land a job today or prepares you to become undeniable tomorrow. So I'm going to pause here, and I think before I'm going to end, because of course, because land and machine backend have some kind of this thing. For everybody who signed up for this bootcamp, you have a coupon to, like, of course, you can go and please go and sign up for land on free, deep analyze jobs for free. If you have any questions, reach out to me directly at victor@land.com, or maybe just reach out to Solomon and he's going to reach out to me too. Like, play around with the product, like deep analyze jobs. Like, it's very important that you deep analyze jobs and put all these things that you've learned today to practice. Now, you're going to have a coupon to try the paid version of land, that's to actually help you land a job. Land is $19 for 3 Jack credits. But you're going to get a coupon to get that for, we're going to give you a $5 off so that you get that for just $14. After now, me and Solomon is going to work on that, and I'll send the coupon to Solomon so that you can go ahead and apply it. But for now, even before you even request for the coupon, because the goal is not just to sell you another product, go and sign up for land for free. Deep analyze jobs, like actually deep analyze jobs. Stop applying blindly. I think it would be the best thing you do for yourself. It's not by, you're not going to land an AI engineering job because you send 1,000 applications. Remember that all the companies you are applying to, they are not gathering in one room saying, oh, this person has been applying. You are just one dot in their own ATS system. They don't know that you have applied to 1,000 other jobs. They don't know. And because you are just one dot, they will treat you as a just one dot. They will only pick out the persons who stood out. And if somebody is reaching out to them outside that queue that you're waiting in the ATS to be singled out with a solution that actually solves their problem, the person demonstrates taste and high agency, trust me, you're just going to keep receiving like automated rejection emails. So I think I've done more than 30 minutes. I'm going to pause here. Let's do a question and answer, and then we can wrap this up.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor, for that deep dive into these different job strategies and how we can land jobs without applying to hundreds of them. So I think, like you rightly said, the next thing is going to be live QA with Victor. So this time you can ask questions that you have in your mind, whatever you need to know about, landing job, you can share it out, and let's see how we can answer these questions together. So I'll be waiting for the first person. Please unmute yourself and go ahead with your questions.
Okay, good evening, Solomon. Good evening, Victor.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I'm sorry, I kind of joined a bit late. Now, during while you were explaining, I saw you said, okay, you can upload projects, or maybe that you see projects, maybe a job you want to apply for, and then trying to work on a project that's actually a bit similar to that of the job. So my question is, does one still have the time frame to build the project, or maybe to work in alignment to something suitable to the job you are trying to apply for or apply to? So like the time, is there no time, like the time different? I don't know if you understand my question. Time to do all that.
Okay, I think so. So usually, yes, there's like, let me say, most jobs, like typically, most jobs, they review applications on a rolling basis. Usually, let me speak for myself. And when I work with these big tech companies, like when we are hiring, so we post the job. At the end of the week, we start reviewing applications. So usually, there's usually a 7 to 14 days window. Like sometimes it goes like, if after 14 days they've still not found something that looks good, it can stretch to like maybe a month, sometimes 2 months. But there is always a 7 to 14 days window. So that's why I always recommend that apply like every other person would. Send your resume, send your cover letter. Do you understand? Then spend one day. There's literally nothing, especially in this tech space now, that you can't solve in 1 to 2 days, because you are not solving the full job. And the projects that land recommends for you is not for you to solve the, like, maybe start doing the job. You're not working the job. It will identify 8 core problems that you're going to solve, and then picks 1 to 3 that are important. Not that you're going to solve the 3, you just pick one and solve. If you spend, if you're really serious about landing that job, if you spend maybe 6 hours, I don't know for software engineers, but for me, for instance, like when I'm writing code, when I'm building land, before it would take me like maybe a week to ship a feature. But now I can ship a feature in one night because I have Claude Code, I have Gemini, like I can brainstorm with Gemini, work with Claude. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is the advantage we have with AI. So the main problem is knowing the problem you need to solve. If you're really serious about that job, you should spend 2 to 3 hours solving the problem. Land does a lot of heavy lifting for you, because before now you start thinking, okay, what do I actually solve that will even go beyond this job description and reflect that I understand the core problem this company is trying to solve. So land has done that heavy lifting for you. It has already given you 3 projects you can solve. What you have to do is pick it up and solve it. And even there on land, you can tell it to generate the code for you on, excuse me, on the land. So apply, spend maybe 6 hours or 3 hours, build the project, and the next day you use that project in your outreach. So that's my recommendation. If the job is really, really important to you. I don't know if that answers your question, Justice.
Yes, yes, yes. It does. Thank you very much. So I
Yeah.
also that means I can actually give it a try. Then before is it then or try to update my resume. Or I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Since I there's time frame for me to actually try to get that feature that okay I'm lagging behind in my resume. Probably
Yes.
maybe I should work on it and then adjust my CV to suit that.
Yes. So on land, for instance, so where we try to solve that, and I wrote an article recently. I may just drop it here. I published something day before yesterday. I came across it on LinkedIn and it really resonated because already land is designed that way. So there's this guy, he says he has been applying for 8 months straight. He's not been getting interviews. So, like, he just spent one weekend, he built one project, and he just mentioned it he didn't even put it among his experiences. He just mentioned it on his resume. The next week, he got an interview. Immediately, he made that single change. He got an interview. 1 month later, he got like 6 interviews. And he said, like, this is not me trying to like maybe sell land. This is a real story on Reddit. Let me bring the link of that article so you guys can look at it. Let me permit just to answer that question. Permit me to share my screen. Let me just pull up the article. I
Go
think
ahead.
this is going to help to answer other people's questions that may be coming. Let me share my screen. Give me a minute, please. So this is the article. You guys can go and read it later. I'm going to drop the link in the job description. Sorry, in the comment section. So I stumbled across this guy. So I call it the joke resume addition that landed interviews and 2 job offers. So this is directly from LinkedIn. This guy says I spent about 8 months job hunting after a layoff and was getting maybe 1 response per 20 applications. Cut the whole story short. What did this guy do? He said next interview. So he added he added a project to his listing and got this thing. So next interview, the hiring manager opened with it. Not my 4 years experience at my previous company, not the process improvement project I was actually proud of, the janky little tool I built for myself on a weekend. He wanted to know why I built it, what I would do differently now, whether I'd considered turning it into something larger. Like, it was the most engaging interview I had, blah, 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 blah. So the bottom line is that just building that project and adding it to his resume was the difference. Like, it was the difference. Like, it's almost like the hiring managers just looked at the resume, skip, because they are used to seeing summary, professional experiences. They know you're going to try to say something sweet, say something that will maybe try to get their attention. But they scrolled down and looked at a project. Oh, this guy is proactive enough to even want to solve project. Let me look at that. Oh, wow. Let me talk to this guy. You understand? So I'm going to leave this article, but why? So this is this thing I've been trying to explain here. So now you depenalize a job, which is like step 1. You see your fit score. Look for this article, you see your fit score, you see your critical vulnerabilities. Now you unlock a jack, you look at the projects, you pick one project, you solve it. Do you understand? And then you add it on land. Once you add a project you solved on land, now this is another important. There's another caveat here because you may ask yourself, okay, so I'll start solving projects for every job I want to apply to. Yeah, I may still not land the job. So, like, is that not still a waste of time? Now, land ensures that that's not a waste of time because each project you solve, you can add it to your projects on your profile. And then when you apply for another job, land can single out those projects and give to you to use too in your application outreach or put it in your resume. So just to show you what that would look like, you can see that this is like, you saw the land interface. So this is me, this is like me, like the project, let's say retailing newsletter on Substack. This is one of the projects I add on my own resume, and it has helped me land jobs when I need to land a job. Do you understand? So let me drop the link to this article so you guys can read it, because I think it's very, very relevant to the question you asked. So you look at this thing, you go and solve a project. Now the project is your own experience too that you are growing. You are not doing it for the company, because some of us, you look at it and say, oh, like I'll just be doing all this things for the company. No, you are doing it for yourself, because if you pick a project and solve, and that project is tackling a gap that you had in the job you analyzed, guess who became a better engineer? It's you. Because now, not only have you learned the skills and mastered the tools that close that gap, you've actually solved a problem. You've built something that demonstrates that you can tackle those problems. So if you analyze that kind of job again and you want to apply to this kind of job, tell me who will become more undeniable? You. So I hope that answers your question, Justice. And any other question that was related to that someone wanted to ask?
All right, guys. So do you have any other question? Anybody, can you go ahead, please? Unmute yourself, ask your question, or share your feedback. Do we have any of that? All right, so seems like we are good. So that would end the live session with Victor, basically. So next, I'm just going to talk to us about a strategy that I think would also work in line with applying to jobs without using land to actually build and deep analyze jobs and apply to them without, applying to hundreds and thousands of jobs. Okay, so Victor has already mentioned a whole lot. These strategies actually works. It's a strategy that works, and from land, we've seen people that have actually land jobs using the strategies that Victor has mentioned to us. So basically what I want to talk about is, just share a little insight when it comes to, building in public, because it is also another strategy that really, really works, aside from how you create your resumes and submit applications, right? So initially, I wanted to talk about, okay, how do you present your AI backend projects to stand out immediately? But we already seen how that is done using LAN, right? And of course, I also want to talk about like finding remote roles as a Nigerian, okay? But right now, we also know that LAN basically has a job board where you can see, jobs that you can apply for to and other places that you get jobs, right? So basically, I want to look at, the build in public strategy and why it creates like inbound opportunities. But before we start, I want to share like a little story that happened to me recently. Okay, so recently, I think this year, I started making daily videos around AI engineering, talking about it. So I decided to start with like the very basics of AI engineering, where I discuss what AI engineering is all about, the roles and responsibilities of AI engineering. So I do daily videos like that and post it on my TikTok and Instagram pages, right? So I think I've done over like 80 plus videos. And one day I decided to post a few of them on LinkedIn, right? So there was one specific one that I did. I just saw it on my phone. I said, okay, let me just post this one on my LinkedIn. And when I did, right, a couple, like I posted a couple videos, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I had a recruiter reach out to me, not really a recruiter, but somebody that has a business, like a company they are trying to build. So they reach out to me on LinkedIn, right? And then go through my profile and everything, right? And then decide to say, okay, we want to, let's go through this process, like an interview process, and see, what turns out. And within a few weeks, I was given an offer. The reason basically is because when we were discussing, like we were having a conversation with the CTO, he said that from the video he saw on my LinkedIn, right, he went through to like check through my profile And what actually made him make his decision was the fact that I have had a podcast before where I was talking about observabilities in AI systems, right? So I have these different videos or content, or if I build anything, I make it public and I share these stories online like that. One, for people to learn from there, and also for hiring managers to see that, there've been an activity, there are projects that are built, these things directly solve specific problems. So if anyone at all actually solves their problem or hits the nail on their problem, they're going to reach out to you to basically come in and help them even scale much better. So that is one of the strategies that has actually worked for me, during those times that I was, looking for a job. Now, this one I just shared is the one that happened recently. When I was looking for a job, the way I got my job with Friday Finance was me simply writing an article about real-time chats room or real-time chats application, right? Those days when we launched WebSocket newly. So I wrote an article about it, and then I explained exactly how I solved that particular problem of chat application, building it step by step and everything. And then they reached out to me from that article because they have a very simple application they want to build. They have their normal application, right? But they want to build a simple feature, which is customized live chat into the application, right? And they need something that I've already done in that particular article. So I was given that role, and of course, the rest is history. So what I'm trying to say is, in as much as you are learning right now, the learning doesn't stop here. You are going to continuously build projects, but do not just build this project inside, make it outside. Any particular problem that you solve in any project, talk about it online and share it. The different stages that you are in this project, make it, a commitment every day that you work on the project. You talk about what you're working on, you share what the challenges that you have and how you were able to solve it. And then you see people that will start following you based on the fact that you're actually solving these problems in real time. And you can also get lucky to, get meet with a recruiter that basically has that problem and they're looking for someone that can solve that problem. So that is another strategy that I want to add, to what Victor has already mentioned, which basically shows you exactly how you need to send out this application and the different outreach messages you need to use to, lock in and actually learn your roles without, spending time and applying to so many jobs. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. And I want to ask again if we have.
Sorry, excuse me, Solomon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me, Solomon. Yeah, I think the point you make is very, very important. And I think, well, I think I should even take this back to like our hundreds of users on land, because yeah, I've always said like tackle those projects, like don't just apply blindly, analyze, tackle projects. But I think the layer you've talked about today is very important too. Like those projects that those projects that you found that you're tackling to actually close your own skills gaps and prepare you to become undeniable tomorrow. I think it makes sense to like even document how you're solving those projects and make, like you're saying, make videos about them and all those stuff. So just to add, like if you if you're solving the problem, if you find a problem, say let's say use anything, but let's say you use land and you find a problem, you find the core problems that you need to solve or your gaps that you need to address. While you're addressing those gaps, one thing I want to add, which Solomon has mentioned, is that you should don't always do this thing because I want to land a job. You can see that what Solomon said here, he didn't say I was doing daily videos because I want to land a job. There's a kind of genuineness that comes from when you are doing something because you want to learn and grow as a person, other than when you are doing it just because you want to land a job. And from my own experience too, I found that the best opportunities come from when you are doing something genuinely to grow. Because if there's a philosophy that has guided me through life, is that what you want is a consequence of what you are becoming. So like what you want is a consequence. So the question you ask yourself, like, who am I becoming? Like, you're taking an AI engineering course. That's a good thing. You signed up for this bootcamp, you paid your own hard-earned money. It's because you are becoming something. It's not necessarily because you want to just get a job. So in the same way, when you're tackling these projects, you should be doing it to become something. And so, just so I don't like overflog this, that's why for the people I mentor, my mentees, and like most of the people are like, hey, I want to pick your brain and all that. One thing I always say is that the industries are very broad. And as AI engineers, you find out that a health tech startup needs AI engineer, sales technology needs AI engineer, martech solutions need AI engineer. Like all these, all like different niches, they need AI engineers. One very good place to start to make it easier for you to land a job is where do you function best? Which of these various technology niches do you function best? So if you know a niche that you function best, go and analyze jobs, go and analyze AI engineering jobs in those niches and tackle the problems in those niches so that each one that you tackle builds you into becoming an expert in that niche. Do you understand? Because that's that's the perfect way to ensure that even if you don't get hired today, like you apply for this job, you don't get hired today, you know that by the time you spend the next maybe 1 week or 2 weeks tackling all the problems that address the gaps you had, you are becoming a better person that will become undeniable in that niche that you've chosen to play in. So AI engineer, yes, at this point, I think we are getting to the point where you can't mention software without AI. So AI engineer is not even a niche on its own again because every industry is going to have AI engineer. Do you understand? So you still have to treat AI engineer as a broad term that you still have to zero down to a very specific niche. Me, for instance, I'm a product marketer. Like, if you give me like if you give me there are some niches, you give me a product to market, even though I will be able to write a great story, I will not do well. But give me a martech product, give me a cybersecurity product, give me like these things that I have kind of zeroed in on, and I'll do a great job. Why? Because if I'm talking to you in those niches, I'm not just being a product marketer. You hear me speaking like a business person that understands the market and understand what it means to win in that market. Those are the things that are going to like kind of set you 10 steps ahead of others who will just look at AI engineer, oh, I am in it, and they go ahead and apply. So just wanted to throw that in.
All right. Thank you very much for that. That was on point. Thank you very much. So we are going to quickly move to what we have next, right? Except if we do not have any questions. So please, if you have any question or any feedback or anything you want to resolve, I think this is the time that you can, talk. Remember, our classes are always conversational, right? So let's unmute ourselves and get to learn and get to, ask questions and unblock ourselves from different, let's say, issues that we have and we do not know how to solve. So let's basically just ask questions, have conversation before we move to the next part. All right, so if anybody has any question, you can raise your hand, but I'm just going to continue. So the next thing basically is tomorrow will be the graduation for this particular cohort. And I want to thank everybody for staying throughout this bootcamp. I think it has been very, very educational, getting to understand and learn new technologies around AI engineering and also how it fits properly into backend infrastructures. So graduating doesn't mean that you leave the community, right? It just means that this particular cohort has come to an end. You will definitely get all the resources that we have been teaching in this particular bootcamp. So you will always have access to your cohort in Mastering Backend platform. So anytime you go there, you get access to the recorded videos. You also get access to the lesson notes that we've been using for the class. So all of the links that we've also shared would also be added in that place. Even this particular video will be added on, will be added in that particular dashboard. So anytime at all that you visit, just go to your cohort and then you get access to these resources. Another thing that I want to share is that we are starting another cohort very soon for this particular bootcamp, and the announcement will definitely be made and you will get to see that. But right now, we've also opened sales to another bootcamp that we are hosting, which is the Golang 30 bootcamp. So what happens in this one is that we are going to build 10 different AI projects, but we are going to do it in Golang. So remember how we built the DocuChat application, and then we did it in Node.js, and then we have other people that did it in Python. This one, we are going to build 10 different projects, and we are going to do it in Golang. So we are also going to have a time to introduce you to Golang in case for those of us that are not Golang engineers. So I want you to also join that one, because this is going to be like a continuation of you building projects and not just stopping at that DocuChat application that we've built. So it's going to be a continuation, and it gives you more momentum because you're going to be exposed to different strategies on how you can build different projects. Does that make sense? So you're going to walk out of that bootcamp knowing how to build 10 different projects. So we are currently on sales now, and of course, I'm going to share the link right here so that you can make payment. It's very, very, this is heavily discounted for you guys on the bootcamp already. Okay, so as we already know, we are all members of the Mastering Backend community. So what that means is this: you're going to have access to so many workshops like this one. Like Mastering Backend, we are coming with lots of workshops. So you're going to have access to that. And some workshops also might require that you speak. Okay, so we are going to tell you, okay, now you are an AI engineer, we are hosting this workshop. Can you speak about this topic? Let's say we want other engineers to come in and learn vector databases. You already know vector databases. Can you come and speak about vector databases in this workshop? So that is going to happen as a member of our community. And of course, we are also going to offer career services. Right now, in Mastering Backend, we are focused on the learn and the build category. But when time comes for the grow category, we are going to do lots of career support and partnership with different businesses to see how we can, give out our engineers for hiring and all of that. So it is very good that you stay committed in the community, you stay resourceful, and you stay very active. If you have any question, ask it in the community, and you're definitely going to get response. Okay, so that is what I wanted to share with everybody. And I believe that we've learned a lot today regarding, career services, hiring strategies, and how we can present ourselves to our potential employers. Okay, so if we do not have any reservation or question, I will just proceed to, the closing remark. So I'm going to give a few minutes for anybody that has anything to say before we can continue. All right, so it seems like we do not. And I want to especially thank Mr. Victor, the founder of LAN, and also everybody that attended today's workshop. It was specifically made for you guys because you guys are our new AI engineers in the building, right? It all starts from the first day that you decide to pay and join this particular bootcamp. So now you are an AI engineer. The only thing that is left is using your knowledge to build so many skills, like build so many projects so that you are comfortable enough before you start applying to different roles. Okay, so if you can build up to 10 different projects right now that has to do with RAG systems, AI agents, MCPs, then you're definitely ready to start applying to jobs. So thank you very much for attending, everybody. The recording of this particular call will be made available just as the way other classes are made available. And of course, like I said, you can always log into Mastering Backend and you'll get access to all this information that we have from the first day that we started this class up to today. So thank you very much once again. And please, tomorrow is very important. Tomorrow I want to see everybody so that we can celebrate together. We can share the different things that we learn in the bootcamp, and then we can have a successful bootcamp graduation where I'm going to show you exactly how you can activate and get your certification. That is very important. So please, I want to see you guys tomorrow, same time, and let's have a successful graduation of this particular bootcamp. So even while we graduate, of course, the community is still on for you to ask me questions concerning what we've been learning in the class. So thank you very much, guys, and I will see everybody tomorrow.